Welcome to the Prehocracy Show, the show before the show that you watch after the show.
And of course, the show that he is speaking of is the Adhocracy Show, which celebrates advertising, art, marketing, and design.
Well,
those are the things
we do that. That's what we do here at the Prehocracy Show, or Adhocracy. Anyway, and today's topic is art.
It is art.
In the Adhocracy Show, we're going to be doing the 5-day drawing challenge.
As well as a Instagrammer you should follow.
So if you have watched that, thank you. If you're going to watch that, thank you. If you're not going to watch that, hey, go watch it. And here in the Prehocracy, where we loosen up all loosey-goosey and get ready for our very professional, entertaining Adhocracy Show, we are going to be talking about our art history.
Yeah, so basically what we have gone through, what our experience with art is, so that you understand who we are.
Now, before you all start saying that anything can be art, depending on how you look at it, blah, yeah, we know, we understand that. But by our art history, we're talking more of
the art that we've gone through.
Yeah.
What our experience is, what we know about art. So go ahead, David Landeen. Or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. Or do you want?
You go first.
Okay. So I have done art for a very long time. I started when I was just a little kid. I was very imaginative. I started my first art classes that I took outside of school art classes and things like that was I started with watercolor. And Bailey was her last name. She was my watercolor teacher. She's very great at watercolor, and I did 7 or so years of watercolor.
Really?
Yeah.
Starting
at age 11 or 12.
Wow.
After that, I switched to another teacher, learned acrylics, got into a little bit of oil, switched teachers again. Got into, I had one art teacher, his name was Mike, I can't remember his last name. He had a little art studio, and he let me do anything I wanted, which was awesome. Everything else before was just kind of controlled, okay, this is what we're painting today, this is how you paint it, we're learning contrast. This was okay, well, what do you want to do? What kind of art do you want to do? And so I did a marker drawing of a Fisher-Price, pirate boat. I did sunsets in charcoal and in chalk. I did. We went to a cabinet making shop and we set up some paper and we spray painted because I wanted to tag. I wanted to learn how to spray paint graffiti and stuff.
I really should have gone first.
I probably should have. After that, I switched to another teacher and did exclusively acrylics and oils. And she taught me a lot. I've been doing fine art for a very long time. My career of I don't know, in school they never tell you to I wasn't very encouraged to go through art. It was okay, art's fun and good job, and submit that to reflections or whatever the contest was.
Reflections.
But so I never really.
So who really encouraged you? Who got you into these watercolor classes when you were 11? Was that you that found them?
Yeah, I wanted to do it.
Was your parents saw your potential and found a watercolor class for you to do? Or?
They knew I wanted to do art from a very young age. I guess at one point I had told my mom as a little kid that I wanted to be the kind of artist that draws the pictures that doctors learn from.
Doctors learn from and anatomical pictures.
Yeah, apparently that was something that I said once. So that I think I had the interest in art, and my parents found people that they were connected to that were teaching art and things like that. And so I have a huge portfolio of just art pieces that I've carried around. I finally took photos of every single one of them, and I need to put them all together, put them on a site or something like that. But so I didn't really have a direct path of art was going to be what I went into. I got into college, tried some graphic design stuff, worked at that Apple reseller, learned that graphic design was awesome and that people could make money in art. And from that, I kind of went down my path, and I'm like, okay, I'm going into some form of graphic design. And it's sort of, you go through college and kind of splinter off, right? Like you kind of like, I want to do this, and then you're like, I want to do this that's sort of related but not. So I kind of bounced around. At one time I was both a graphic designer, fine art, and illustration major. I thought I could do all three of those. And then I realized that it's going to take me twice or three times as long as it was just to do the graphic design. And so I kind of took those classes alongside. So I mean, I've done everything from figure painting to fine art painting to all sorts of critiquing stuff. So my background in art is pretty dense as far as art. I've done airbrush, I've done gouache,
what's gouache?
Gouache is sort of a funny, like, you can paint with it like watercolor, but it's really thick, and as you paint it, a lot of comic book artists, well, some comic book artists will paint in gouache, because you can paint, like, you can kind of do continuous tones, but you can do very solid pieces. It kind of comes out chalky, and if it gets wet, it ruins the entire thing. It's a frustrating medium, like maybe more so than watercolor. Watercolor can be hard. It can be very difficult and very
like there's no you mess up and it's like
But like when watercolor dries, it's like you can ruin it, but not very easily. Gouache, like you blow on it and the little piece of spit gets on there, it makes a little like weird dimple in the color and stuff, and it's like, oh no. So that's sort of a condensed version of my entire
I really should have gone first.
Art history.
So I started with crayons, used just a scribble, eventually transitioned to coloring books, where I would learn to draw color inside the lines, which may have ruined my entire art right there. I mean, who knows what I could have become if I had just not learned to color inside the lines. That's ruined. No, okay. I guess, like, I've always been one that's drawn stuff and, like, sketch stuff and thought that, you know, like when you're a little kid and you think and like every little kid is the best artist. Like, you know, you go to like a elementary school class, first graders, and like who's really good at drawing, and everybody raises their hand. Because they just, I mean, as a kid, you're good at everything because it's not about results. It's about like doing it. Like you can do it.
They don't have the premonitions of like what's bad and what's good.
Exactly.
And like their drawing of a person that looks like just a big U shape with a circle on the top is a person.
Yeah, and it's like that's how
it makes sense.
So I mean, I probably had the typical from any little kid. In a 6th grade Jungle Book play, they found out that I could copy. Like, I was really good at, like, copying out of a coloring book, so I could, like, look at a coloring book and, like, copy it and just, like, make it bigger or whatever.
Nice.
And so I was in charge of drawing all of the sets, and they just gave me a Jungle Book coloring book. So there was I did a whole bunch of art, I guess, there. When I was in 8th grade, I took an art class, and my mom actually is an amazing painter.
Really?
Yeah, she did oil, and we have tons of her pictures hanging up in our house, like growing up, in my grandma's house, and I have, there's a couple that I have hanging up in my house. And so in 8th grade, they were going to do a art contest in middle school, and I decided I wanted to do a painting, and she's like, okay, like I can teach you how to do it. And I was in 7th grade. It was 7th grade. Yeah. And I won Best of Show at the art contest.
Yeah.
And then I did
Landeen.
the worst mistake and sold the painting. They offered me some money and they're like, yeah, we'll buy your painting, we'll hang it up in the school. I was like, yes, let's do this. And I sold it, and I missed that painting. Like, that was my first painting, and it's hanging up in some middle school somewhere.
So we need to go and like Mission Impossible.
Oh my word, I would love to Mission Impossible that thing out. It's probably lost, but if anybody knows where David Landeen's painting at Joel B. Jensen Middle School is, I would love to get it back. I will pay you back the $40 that you gave me. All right. My sister sold hers 2 years later for like $120.
I got. Was it better?
It was good. I don't know. I don't remember which one it was, actually. I think it was... I think I won. I still won Best of Show because I did another painting that year, and I won Best of Show, and then she also won... No, maybe it was after I was graduating, and she won Best of Show. Anyway, but... So that was, like, my big, like... art. And so I got into oil painting for a while there, like, middle school, and then went into high school, and... I don't know. I didn't really stick with it. My sister, like, still does... She actually... has done some really awesome paintings recently. She did, and the whole thing is just she signed up for a class and she didn't really need that much help, but it just was an excuse to go and paint every week because you paid for this class, and so you're going to go and you're going to paint.
Sometimes that's the money behind it is the motivation alone.
Yeah, and that's I mean, running
that's
with
maybe
me.
one of my problems is I've got tons of blank canvases. I've got tons of art supplies. They're all sitting in there. Like I've got it in an area now that I could use, but like I'm just like I have ideas. I've got lots of things to paint.
You gotta set aside that time to.
I need to like commit somehow. I need to like put money behind it that I don't have.
Well, yeah. Okay. and then like, I guess that's like the furthest I went into art. And I just didn't really stick with it because you get there and see, I am very much one that's like, when it's going to take me, like, prodigies drive me crazy. Prodigies and people with natural talent drive me crazy because I feel like no matter how much I try and work, then they're going to be better.
Not true.
But I think it is.
It's not true.
But it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. I think it is.
I have watched so many people who are talented at art, and because they rely on their talent, they don't progress themselves. And I've seen people who have no talent who are awful far surpass them because they just do, and they are trying and they're experimenting. And
well, so
natural talent will only get you so far. I know. Tell you that.
But growing up, it's really hard to take piano lessons and to watch like some daytime talk show where they have the 3-year-old Chinese kid who's playing stuff that you can't even hope to be playing anytime like in the future. And he's like, why am I doing this again? Like, how is it that he's... But anyway. So it's kind of like, I would go to like an art class and I would really, really work at it. And I think that's hard because you work and you try it really hard and and then somebody else who has the natural talent throws something together and it's superior to what you've worked on really hard, and that's the one that gets highlighted by the teacher. That's the one that's like, wow, look at this, this is really great. And you're like, so it's not necessarily who put in the most effort, it's what it turned out. And that's like, it's hard to stay motivated to keep working on it when that's the feedback that you get, or that's the perception that you have.
Well, yeah, and that's especially not understanding the game of how art works, especially in that, because it's...
Well, and the same thing happened in college when I took some design classes or photography classes. Like, it was... I would like try really hard to just think about everything, and then, you know, somebody who was just... I mean, they just understood design really well, and they had the eye for it. It was just a hard thing to constantly see other people try less hard and do better than you. And so I was like, you know, I'm going to stick with my strengths. Just do whatever's easy and you're good at, and you'll be successful. That's the key to success.
That's how to win.
That's how to win
the game.
No, but this is why I chose to do this episode, is because I want to get better at drawing. I mean, especially in video, when I want to do more storyboarding, and I have these ideas in my head, but I can't like put them down on paper. And I understand what I want, but I just can't storyboard it out. I'd like to get better at drawing to then be able to storyboard. So, yeah.
Well,
so we'll see how it goes.
Let's get to some drawing then. Let's see if we can't get you doing better.
We can hope so.
All right, I'm starting.
These like episodes always seem to turn out to me like complaining about how I was like, you know, had a tough childhood because I didn't have opportunity or something. I don't know. I always feel like I'm just like the cynic in these. I wasn't born a cynic.
Let's show our little.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
JD made these.
I got some vinyl sticker stuff and finally got a.
Because these may not be Apple computers.
These are just
regular gray computers.
These are the Adhocracy laptops.
We built these ourselves.
That could partially be true if you put certain things in there. If you like change in a hard drive or RAM or something. Doesn't matter.
That's true.
All right, are we ready to start? Do you know what you're saying?
Am I? Yes. And yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got this. Wait, hold on. Okay.
Welcome to the Adhocracy Show. On today's show,
an Instagrammer you should follow.
Arts and Crafts Day.
And we tried the 5-day drawing challenge.
We'll be right back.
The other day I was on lynda.com, which is a great resource if you want to learn new skills. Not a sponsor. And I found a course